I heard a program on the ABC and they said there was a woman who put a scarecrow out, and then the neighbours all put scarecrows out, but the idea was that people talk to each other. So I got a pair of my fanciest pants and a T-shirt that looked like it was going to a dinner. You know, it had a bow tie. So I called him Clancy because of his fancy pants. It's made a big difference to just my street. I introduced this morning two people who'd lived there. One of them had lived there for about 3 years. The other one about 15 years. They hadn't spoken to each other. So people are sort of starting to talk. And I said, when this is over, we are going to have a get-together down in the park, which is about 5 or 6 doors down. I really believe in that cross-pollination stuff, you know, people talking to each other and caring about each other.
I'd done some training about a year ago and I got handed this 80 great ideas for building communities. And the very first one is the roaming gnome. So I began to think, how can I do that? And I began to talk about it with my wife, and she said to me, there's 4 gnomes, porcelain gnomes, sitting in an op shop around the corner. I can probably get them for about $2. And she did. So that was the start of the project. The gnome itself is a device. So that enables you to meet or talk to one of your neighbours. So the idea is that you probably give it to a neighbour, not that you know really well, although you can, but someone that you're not quite sure of, maybe you wave to, or you've just seen them move in a few months ago, and then before you realise it, you've not said hello in 2 years. Go up to the neighbour and say, would you mind, this is Homer the gnome. What do you think about putting him in your garden for a while? And it can be a few days, it can be a month. The last person had it for 5 weeks, I think it was. And then they care for their own, put it out the front. Any neighbours want to photograph it, and then the cycle starts. That person begins to pass it on. So it's a social connecting device. It's not the actual gnome. It's the idea of, if you're a little bit scared or a little bit worried about introducing yourself to a stranger, the gnome's a conduit to do that.